Hey y'all, come on in. I'm gonna give it a few minutes and I'm gonna go ahead and get started as this live will stay up. Hey y'all, hey, let me know y'all can hear me and see this space right here good. When you come in, make sure you go hit the the like button, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on any other tutorials. And I think you're supposed to say hit the notification bell so that you can be reminded on when I'm going live. Something like that. We're just going to give it a few minutes and then I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me see what's up. Miss Dims. Hey, Miss Dims. Hey, girl. Hey. You know what? I thought I had commented under your video when you went skydiving. Oh my goodness. I can't wait. I want to try it so bad, but I don't know. So you're a brave soul, sis. Brave soul. I'm doing okay this morning. Sound video is good. Okay. Hey, Miss Versi. Hey, sis. Look, since we in the same not neighborhood, but we don't live probably too far from each other, maybe we should do like brunch or lunch or something like that soon. I would love that if you can do that. That would be great. Yeah, I forgot about that. You said that. I forgot you said that. You show right, and it gives you that option too. It says that this mode was for like mobile, and this is the best for like mobile and stuff like that, or when you do live stream. But I would definitely do that the next time for sure. You know what? Because I might forget again. So can you, when I get ready, when you see I'm gonna go live again, can you just say, sis, go ahead and turn it to the other mode? Because I'm definitely I'm gonna do better. I'm trying to make sure I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I know it seemed like it. Yeah, it seemed like it. But yes, okay, so because of what I'm doing, I probably don't even have to, this part will probably be okay. Or but the next time I'll do it, I'll make sure. All right. So what I'm gonna make is the organza ribbon trim tutu. I prefer organza fabric over tulle, and especially for beginners. And I'm not saying that a beginner can't catch on to the tulle, but using the organza for the first time will like better prepare you for tulle, right? I also like organza fabric, which I'm going to pull this. I'm going to get this skirt right quick, but I actually like organza fabric more because you can wash and you don't have to dry it, but you can definitely wash it. But it also can be dry cleaned, or something like that. But or I believe you can dry it as well. I think you can. I'm gonna try it out and see. But most time when people wear tutus, they just wear it that one day or whatever, and that's it. But organza fabric is definitely good, and it's not too expensive. Give me 1 second. Yeah, and it's not, too expensive or whatnot. So you can get it for 99 cents a yard. You can get, when it go on sale, you can get it in a bundle pack. So I literally recommend Organza Fabric for your tutus. So on Saturday, I did a sewing chat. On Saturday, I did a sewing chat with the group with So Cute Beginner Friendly Sewing Group. Those who chimed in, I went on the Zoom sewing chat, and we created my grandbaby her 6-month tutu using organza. So we created this particular tutu for her 6-month birthday, which was on Saturday. And actually, Saturday also made 2 months of me being sober from alcohol. So I was really excited about that. And it's a day by day process, but I'm definitely excited about it. So, so this is what we made. And again, we made it using the organza fabric. We made it using the organza fabric and the ribbon, satin ribbon. So this is what we're getting ready to make. And in the detailed description, I did give you the sizes that I'm going to use for today, which is like a 6 to 9 month. And I'm going to give you how much fabric you'll need for a 6 to 9 month. And kind of explain to you how I go by in determining how much fabric I need when I don't know the measurements offhand. Like if I just have a regular measurement, just a measurement that just your typical measurement, I go off of that, and then I kind of like take away. So if you don't know the measurements, then this is a way that you can do it. So we're going to go ahead and go over the supplies, and then we are going to get started. If you have any questions, make sure you comment below, and I will do my best to answer them as I am going through this tutorial. And an update on my sobriety. I found that I've had to relearn some things, because most of the time when I was going live and things like that, I would probably had already had a shot of some type of liquor, some type of beverage, alcoholic beverage, and it just gave me like a boost, and I felt like I could do anything, right? So when I stopped, let me make sure I got everything. So when I stopped, I started back trying to sew and everything, things that would take me 30 minutes to make was taking me 2 hours, because my focus was a little different. My focus was a little off. And then make sure I got everything. And so what I realized is I'm having to learn Aisha all over again, right? And that includes sewing and everything. So it's just a process, and it's not easy, but it's well worth it. Okay, so let's go. Let me see. Watching from Joanne's. Okay. Good morning, Lisa. All right, so let's go ahead. So the supplies you're going to need is the organza fabric. So what I did for the 6 to 9 month is, on a typical like 6 month tutu, I think it's like 10 yards or 11 yards. So you would use 10 or 11 yards of a tulle. Well, for the 6 months for the organza, you would need 6 yards, and I cut the 6 yards 6 yards going across, all the way across, by 10 and a half going down, and that is to make it like fit right at the bottom, right? So it's fitting right at her little bottom there. So you will need to have like some bummies or something up under it. And I really like that style for that age group. So since they can't walk, right? So you'll do 10 and a half or 11 from here to here, and then across 6 yards. I'm using scrap out. I got my dog want to be in here, so hold on. Out. Greg, can you come get him, please? Go. All right, so you're going to need I'm using scrap organza that I had that my mom had gave me the scraps from. So mine is cut up. So I have like 6 1 yards of fabric, right? So 6 1 yard. So 6 yards, but they all are cut in 1 yard pieces, right? So I'm going to gather my 6 pieces here. So I got, and again, it's scraps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so you're going to need 6 yards of your organza fabric. And then you're going to need your ribbon. So I'm using 1.5-inch ribbon, and I'm using white ribbon, satin white ribbon. And you're going to need a total of, you can either do 6 yards, but I'm doubling it so we can have it layered here. So I'm doubling it. So I'm going to use a total of 12 yards. Okay. And then you're also going to need your elastic. I'm using 3/4, I believe, inch elastic. But you can use 1-inch elastic if you like. And you'll cut it to the size of the waist measurement of the child. So I'm actually going to cut this at, I'm going to cut it at 18 inches or 18.5 inches so that she can grow into it a little bit. So I got my elastic, and then you're also going to need either a bodkin. You're also going to need either a bodkin or a safety pin. Thank you, Miss Damps. You're also going to need a bodkin or a safety pin so that you can feed your elastic through the casing. And because organza does fray, you're going to need some pinking shears, or you can use a lighter. When I did it on Saturday, we used a lighter because I couldn't find the pinking shears, or you can do a French seam. We're going to just cut it with the pinking shears. You're also going to need your sewing machine with matching thread. So for the ribbon, since my ribbon is white, I'm going to use white thread when I sew on the ribbon. And my organza fabric is red. I'm going to use red thread when I'm doing the casing, when I'm sewing across to do the casing for the elastic. Okay. And y'all, I think that's it. So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to attach all of the pieces so that it can be, I'm going to attach all of the pieces so that it can be one long continuous piece. So I'm just going to line up one side. So here is the whole, there's like 2 yards here, 1 yard each though. And I'm going to line it up on the shorter edge, which is the 10.5. And I'm going to sew it going straight down here. Okay. So I'm just going to place a couple pins here so that you can see where I'm going to sew. And I'm just going to sew using about a 3/8 inch seam allowance. And I'm just going to go straight down right here. And since this is for my grandbaby, I'm just going to sew right here using white thread. Since I already have it lined up with the white thread, I'm just going to use the white thread for this part here as I'm stitching them together, right? So I'm just going to start here. And again, we're using a straight stitch. And I'm just going to attach all 6 pieces, which are 1 yard each. But if you're buying it off the bolt, just get 6 yards cut off the bolt and you'll have one continuous piece. And make sure you backstitch at the beginning and at the end. I love working with scrap fabric. So my mom gives me her scrap pieces after she's done creating her garments. And so that's what I do. I just use the scrap pieces and create items using those pieces. So after you have sewn all the way down, using a straight stitch, making sure the back stitch here and here, then you'll just get your pinking shears and you can just cut up and just trim this off so that it will not fray, because this particular fabric frays crazy, right? So we don't want it to fray. So we got to use our pinking shears and we're just going to cut straight up just like that, okay? I recommend using red thread at this part if you're attaching pieces together, but I'll do it with the white thread for now. All right, and so the next step is I'm going to open it up just like that. And I'm going to do the same exact thing. Is I'm going to add the other piece here so I can make it one continuous piece. And I'm going to sew again. I'm going to sew straight down. I'm just going to add my pins just for the tutorial purpose. Organza does shift like tulle does, but not as bad in my opinion. So, and it holds your pins better if you need to pin it, right? So I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to keep doing this until I have all 6 pieces sewn together. And I'm making this for my grand girl. I call her Tiny Tot. She's 6 months. And this is going to be for Christmas. So I can just definitely put this to the side for her for Christmas. And again, I'm just going to cut my thread and use the pinking shears and cut. Okay, then I'm just going to remove my pins and I'm just going to repeat this process for the next pieces. Good morning. Thank you to those that just joined in. And I'm just going to continue to add the pieces on. Did y'all do anything fun over the weekend? I think we just kind of like relaxed. Right, so keep going until you got all your 6 pieces. your 6 yards together. I just need to add 2 more and then I'll be done. So I actually, this weekend, I went through my scrap fabric. I sorted through the cotton or the woven fabric, the non-stretch fabric, and put them together. And then I also did it for the stretch material as well. Christmas is coming up, so I also made a list of all, my family members who I'm going to make Christmas gifts for. And then today I'm going to put what I'm going to make them. I'm going to put what I'm going to make them by their names, and then get the fabric and everything together and the pattern and put them together in a Ziploc bag for each family member so that I can make sure that part is prepped and done. Then all I have to do is sew. So that's what I did. Yeah. So then I'm just going to cut this with the pinking shears. And I have one more to add, and then we're going to move on to the next step, which is adding the ribbon. All right, so this is the last part. The sewing machine I'm using is an $88 sewing machine from Walmart. I teach my students weekly with this particular machine, and it's like one of the best beginner sewing machines. And if you decide to start selling, your, as a beginner, start selling your creations, you'll get this money back probably within the first day of you selling, right? Since it's only $88. So I really recommend the Brothers sewing machine from Walmart. That's $88. This blue one, the model is LX3817A, but they have a gray, and they also have a white. I'm trying to read this. Let's see. I work weekends, so that's what I had. Okay. You at work listening now? Okay. Yeah. I'm home, so I watch the grandbaby, every day while her mom goes to work. But they have her dad is in town, and my daughter starts school on today as a massage therapist. So I was able to get a few, things done since I didn't have to watch her, this weekend. Okay. All right. So now that I have it all of them sewn, all 6 yards sewn together. And as you can see, this is what it'll look like. It's sewn together. And then this is the wrong side, and then this is the right side. So this is what it'll look like sewn together. So now that I have all 6 pieces, I'm going to find the beginning of one. It's a lot of fabric. And find the beginning of one. And so this is the right side of it. So so you can see that this is the right side. This is the right side of the fabric, not where the inside is at. Is the inside, the ugly side is facing down, and my pretty side is facing up, right? So what I'm going to do now is grab the sewing machine, grab my ribbon, and for me, I like to sew on top of the organza, okay? So I'm just going to lay my fabric. Let me move this out the way first. So I'm going to have it laid down just like this, and then I'm just going to lay the ribbon right on top, just like that, right? And I'm going to sew all the way down. There are some people that like to put it on the inside and sew it like that. I don't. I like to put mine right here at the top. Then you'll make sure you heat seal your ends. So you will need a lighter so you can heat seal your ends. Let's see if I have one in here. So you will need to heat seal the end of your ribbon. They have this electric knife that I'm going to purchase from Amazon. They have an electric knife to where you just go down just like that with the knife with your ribbon, and it cuts it and seals it at the same time. So I'm definitely going to invest in that. So on both sides here, you want to cut on this organza. You want to go ahead and trim it down with your pinking shears. Forgot to do that on the other side too. So you just want to trim down with your pinking shears, so that part will not fray, or you can wait till the end and trim down. So I'm going to place it under my sewing machine, and then I am going to sew right at the edge of the top part here, of right at the edge of the top of the ribbon here, okay? Very, very easy, and just take your time. This sewing machine goes a little slower than the industrial sewing machine, so it'll take you a little longer using a regular, full sewing machine than it would if you was using an industrial one, but it still gets the job done, okay? So I'm just going to place it right there on the top. And then I'm going to position my ribbon right on the mid, in between my legs at the bottom, and the tulle is in, not tulle, the organza is also in between, okay? So now I'm just going to sew all the way down. Make sure to back stitch. And sew all the way down. And adjust your tulle and ribbon as you go. It's okay to pause as you are sewing. Don't try to go fast like everybody else do. Do what's best for you. Pause when you need to, adjust, and keep going. will answer any questions when I get to the part where I can see the messages. Let me make sure nobody said anything. Okay. Just keep going. Sometimes your ribbon will twist. Don't worry about it. Just untwist it and keep going. Just looked at my thread and it has a knot in it, so hopefully it won't pop as it's going through. And it did pop. I knew it was going to pop. I saw that knot in the thread and I knew it was going to pop. But just thread your machine back. So whenever your thread pops, then make sure you start back where you stop and then back stitch, okay? So it can lock that stitch back in. Okay, so you'll just start again. Make sure to back stitch. And keep going. I don't know why this twisting up on me like this that bad today, but oh well. Finish. I'm almost at the end. When you get to the end, make sure you cut your ribbon off the roll. If you have it on a roll, make sure you cut it off the roll. And then you're going to heat seal your end of the ribbon. Make sure to back stitch. Cut your thread. Then you'll heat seal your end. And then we're going to do the same exact thing on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and use my pinking shears right here to make sure it does not fray. So I'm just going to cut straight down. I'm just going to heat seal that right there. All right, so now you should have 6 yards sewn onto one side. Now we're going to go over and do the other side. So what you have to do is you want to flip over your fabric, because you want to make sure that the pretty side of, when you fold it in half, you want to make sure that the pretty side of the ribbon is on this side as well, okay? So now that I have it like this here, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to flip it. And then I'm going to place my ribbon on this side right here. So when you fold it over like this, both of the ribbon is the pretty side is facing up, okay? You don't want to fold over and it's one side is on this side like that, right? You want it to both be on top. So when you flip it over, you'll have the wrong side facing up, and now you put your pretty side of the ribbon right here on this side. And then you will sew down the same method. Okay, so I'm just gonna and heat seal this end here. And again, this is for my grandbaby for Christmas. I'm gonna make sure I go on and get a little bit of stuff here and there taken care of, so I won't be rushing at the last minute. I'm sorry. So I won't be rushing at the last minute. Greg, Can you call Shayna? And because she keeps calling me. Please, thank you. Huh? Okay, can you tell her not to call? Thank you. All right. My daughter is calling me. She's gone with her friends. I want to make sure she's good. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sew all the way down on this side as well. I'm just going to sew all the way down again. Make sure to back stitch. Again, just take your time. There's no need to rush the process. Just take your time. You do not have to be a pro at sewing to make this really beginner friendly. I tell you, and it's profitable. And it's profitable if you decide to sell them. My thread popped on me. So I got this thread, and I don't like this thread. I got this thread from Joann's. I'm not a fan of Joann's thread because for me, this is what it does. But I had, it had a sale, buy 3, get 3 free. And I was like, you just can't beat that, right? So, so I had bought it. But for me, it does pop. My favorite thread is Walmart. The Walmart thread coats, I believe that's what it's called. And I love that. That one rarely pops on me or anything. So make sure if your thread does pop that you start again where you left off. Make sure to back stitch to lock that back in and then just keep on going. But yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of Joann's thread. But it still can get the job done. Oh yeah, very profitable. That's right, Miss Demps. As long as you do them, especially if you do pop-up shops and you bring a couple of these with you, you for sure to sell those. You know, I don't do custom work anymore. So everything that I create, that's how I sell it. I just create it, and if they want it, they buy it. But I don't do custom work. I don't take custom orders anymore. It was just stressful for me. But for these, you can sew these up and then post them. Sew about 5 of them up. Post them. Or take them to a vendor event. Put them on your website or your Etsy. And I guarantee you, they will sell. Because a lot of people just buy these for their kids to just play around in, and then some buy it for their birthday parties. So just do some generic colors and definitely they'll sell. So long as you know how to do a straight stitch, you should be okay. Okay. All right, so I'm at the end. I'm gonna make sure that I cut my ribbon off of the roll. You gotta make sure you heat seal your end of the ribbon. I'm going to cut my thread, and then I'm going to make sure I heat seal the end of this ribbon here. And again, we're using Organza Fabric, not tulle. Okay. All right. So now I'm just going to go through, and where my thread had popped, I'm just going to go through and cut the thread off. Wherever I might have extra thread at, I'm just going to cut that thread wherever it popped at, right? All right. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, because you have, and you see how it's kind of like uneven here. Don't worry about that. It's just perfectly fine. This, I'm using scrap pieces, so it's going to be uneven. But as long as you got the thread sewn on, the ribbon sewn onto your organza fabric, you should be good to go. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, with it like this, I'm going to now create the casing. So I'm going to change out my thread to the red thread for the top thread, and the bobbin is going to be red. And I'm going to fold over. So for this, I want it to kind of like overlap, but not all the way, not the same. I want it to overlap like that. Right? So it's going to be just like that. So I'm not lining it up like that. Can you do that? Yes, you sure can. But I want mine to kind of like overlap a bit, just a little bit, to where it can be layered, okay? So I'm going to do it just like this. I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm going to go down about an inch. Since I'm using 3/4 inch elastic, I'm going to go down about an inch, and I'm going to sew all the way down. If you're using 1 inch elastic, you might want to go down to like 1.25 inches, and then sew all the way down, okay? So that's, and make sure the back stitch at the beginning and at the end. So first things first is I'm going to change out my thread, my bobbin, and my top thread. Thank y'all for joining in and watching. I hope you'll learn something from this. Very beginner friendly. Just take your time. Don't worry about trying to rush it. Don't worry about listening to videos that say it takes 10 minutes to make, right? Or don't worry about it. Take your time. Do it the way that you can do it. Oh, another thing is, when I'm using my thread on the roll like this, I just put it in a vase, y'all. I just put it in a vase just like this. And then I just thread it onto my sewing machine, right? I just keep it in a vase. That way, that way I don't have to buy a stand. So just FYI, you can definitely do that. I'll do some custom work, not much too. Yeah, I was doing it left and right, and it just too many. I want it this way, or at the last minute I didn't want that, and it was just too much for me. And I'm okay with now I'm okay with saying, no to certain things. I wasn't at first, but no, like nothing custom. Just gotta find what works for you. And custom work does not work for me. Do I make customized things? Yes, but I don't take orders of people telling me how they want it made. I just don't like it. All right, and so now I'm gonna sew. Since I'm using I'm using 3/4 inch elastic. I'm just gonna sew my casing down, making sure the back stitch at the beginning and at the end, and keep making sure to keep your ribbon lined up the way that you want it. If you want it to be the same exact length, go ahead and put it together and sew it that way. For me, I just overlap just a little bit, just like that. I just overlap just a little bit, and then I'm going to sew all the way across. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. And or you can ask them in the group. It's so cute, beginner friendly sewing group. And one of the admin on the admin team or our moderators, they're able to help you if I can't. All right, so start, make sure the back stitch and sew. And what I'm doing is I'm following this plate here. It says 1 inch right here. I'm just following that plate. And just take your time. If you're more comfortable with pinning before you sew, you can do that too. There's no right or wrong way of doing that. You can pin before you start sewing. And with the organza, I forgot to add that too. With the organza, you can definitely iron it flat and have this part pressed down so that it can stay even, right? You can do that too. You just adding a couple steps to yourself, but it's better to add a couple steps than to mess up, right? So. That's how I look at it. Better to be careful than to mess up. Thank you to those that have joined in. Again, all you have to do is adjust your fabric as you're going. So this one is gonna be like fits right at the like the bottom of the butt or above, a little bit above the butt, so that the bummies can be seen, right? Can't wait to share. Make sure y'all follow us over there at So Cute Beginner Friendly Sewing Group. I'm gonna post my granddaughter's outfit that I had created for her 6-month birthday. I'm gonna post it there shortly. After this live, I'm gonna post it so that y'all can see how the skirt look with the bummies underneath it. I also made her some thigh-high or like knee-high socks as well. So make sure y'all follow me over there. And I believe I put the link to the group in the description bar, the detailed description bar below. I think it's below. already excited to see the final skirt. Hey, good morning. I can't see who that is right now. I think it's Natasha, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you for joining in. Make sure the back stitch when you get to the end. Then you're going to cut your thread. All right, so now you should have something that looks like this. So you got your top and then your bottom one right here. So now you have 6 yards. I think this might be a little over 6 yards because my mama said they was, you know, in 1 yard piece, but I think it's probably a little bit over. But anyway, so now what we're going to do, now that we have all 6 yards sewn together with the ribbon, now we are going to, yeah, all 6 yards. Wow, all of that. So now we are going to add in the elastic. We're going to feed our elastic through the casing that's right. Can you see that? The casing that we just created, right? So we're getting ready to do that now. So you get your elastic with the bodkin or your safety pin attached to the bottom. And then we're just going to feed it through. Really, really, really simple. Trying to make sure. Okay. So really, really simple. Now we're just going to feed it through. Just like this. This is a non-roll elastic. I really don't like using non-roll elastic. But that's what I had. That's what I could find when I decided to go live today. So we're going to just use this. Get it through here. Hold on. I think this is 3/4 inch elastic. If it's 1 inch, I'm going to be a little not happy, but we're going to find out. All right, so now we're just going to push it through. Just like that. And you're just going to keep going till you got all of it gathered onto your elastic. And then when I get to my elastic to about right here, I'm going to place a pin there, and so that the whole elastic won't go all the way through. We don't want it to go all the way through, or we have to start all the way over, right? So about right here, I'm going to stop it right there, and then I'm going to place a pin here to keep it from going all the way through. Just like that, all right? So now you're safe to keep feeding your elastic through. How cute. It's already coming together. Too cute. Thank y'all for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Oh, look what happened. My bodkin came through. I mean, opened up. Bummer. That's another reason why I don't like using the non-roll elastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push my my bodkin back through here. I knew that was going to, I felt it was going to happen. And I'm just going to reattach it on the inside here. So that's the beauty of the bodkin. This bodkin might not be the best bodkin to use, but that's the beauty of bodkins, is because you can go back in and find it and grip it back, right? So let's see. I'll go lighter on pulling so it won't pop through again. But to avoid that, you can definitely use a safety pin. You got to make sure that bodkin is tight on there. And I have to be careful because I don't want it to pop again. And I live by the bodkin, so it don't deter me when they do it. I just do it. I just start over. And just go a little lighter so it won't come through it. But the non-roll elastic is just more perfect than the one that can roll. You just have to be more precise with the one that can roll. So it doesn't have any room to roll, right? So I'm just taking my time because my bodkin does seem like it wants to do what it wants to do. So check it out. It's already coming together. Little tiny tutu. I absolutely love. Yes, I love the bodkin. Just take your time with the bodkin on your non-roll elastic because it has those ridges in there and it can kind of get slip through the ridges. And just keep going. And I'm just being careful, y'all. So I'm taking my time. Normally I'll swoop through this, but because of the bodkin, I'm having to take my time. It's so stinking cute. Just take your time. And let's say as you're going, you feel like you don't need all 6 yards. Then all you have to do is cut off what you don't need, trim down, trim the sides with your pinking shears so it won't fray. And then go from there, right? So oh, it's so cute. And I'm just feeding it through here. They're so cute. I might make another one to give away today. Somebody probably can't afford one, so I definitely may make another one to give away. Especially since it's scrap fabric, right, that my mom gave me. So, yeah, definitely thinking about doing that. Okay, so you're just going to keep going. And I'm adjusting my bodkin so that it can stay on the elastic. Just keep on going. So you got it all on here. It is, right? I'm so excited. Like now I want to make like a green one with red ribbon. I gotta see if I have any. If not, I'll probably have to go buy some. And I'm just scooting it down, y'all. So I can get it all to fit on here. And then after I got it all together, then I can adjust the elastic. All right, so just keep going. Oh, also, when you make seams, make sure that your seams match up. I don't know if y'all can see that. Yeah, make sure that they match up. That lets you know that you got everything even as you're sewing across, okay? If you have to add if you're using like scrap fabric. If you're doing a whole 6 yards off the bolt, then you should be good to go. Another thing is when you are creating these tutus, if you do what I did and attach 1 yard each, that's also the method that you would use if you wanted to do multiple colors, okay? And you don't even have to sew it down if you don't want to. You'll just have to make sure that all of those ends are heat sealed, or use your use your pinking shears or your French seam, right? Just to make sure it doesn't fray. So you don't have to sew the ends together. You could just continue to put 1 yard on 1 yard of purple, 1 yard of yellow, 1 yard of green, 1 yard of pink, until you got it all on here, right? All 6 yards. All right, so as y'all can see, we are at the end right here. And I'm just going to kind of scoot it down a little bit. Oh, it's so stinking cute. All right, so I'm just going to keep on going. Then I'm going to pull it through. Then I'm going to pull my elastic through right here. And I can now remove the bodkin that gave me trouble. And now there are several ways you can sew your elastic, but it's definitely up to you. Okay, it's definitely up to you how you want to sew it. What I do is I just get both ends and I'll fold it in half just like that. And my grandbaby's waist is like 17 inches. I did 18 and a half because I just want to make sure that I have had enough, right? So I'm going to probably sew about 1 inch off, and that's it, right? But I will provide the measurement. I will put a link in the description of a lady that has all the measurements that you can use if you're creating it with tulle. So all you will have to do is subtract. So for this 6 month, this could go from 6 months to maybe even a year. But this 6 month tutu, it calls for, I think, 10 yards 10 or 11 yards of tulle, and I actually did 6 yards of organza. So you would take away maybe 4 yards, right? You don't need as much because then it's going to be too much. It's going to be jumbled up here because this fabric is thicker than tulle. All right. So what I do is I fold it in half with the right sides together, and I'm going to sew a straight stitch, making sure the back stitch up and down, up and down, up and down, just to reinforce it. That's one way you can do it, which is the way I'm just going to do it. Or the other method will be just to overlap it, just like that. And you can do that as well, making sure to do like, just sew all the way around here, make like an X, and that'll keep it from moving. But, and I do this one as well, but for today, I'm just going to fold it over. And I'm just going to sew all the way down, making sure to reinforce. And again, we used organza instead of tulle. Make sure to back stitch. Make sure to reinforce it. You can go over it as many times as you want. Cut your thread, and then you can cut this extra off that's right here. So now that you have it like this, you could just leave it just like that. Now you want to feed in the elastic and put it the way that you want it to be. Another thing is, if you wanted to, you can meet these two up and then sew a straight stitch. I'm not going to do that because it's not necessary, right? But you can definitely do that. So now I'm just going to feed it through and just get the gathers as even as possible all the way around. And do your best not to have any white showing. So the next time, if you do one and you see white still showing, just add a little bit more, right? All you gotta do is add a little bit more so the white is not showing. And just spread it out evenly. I'm so in love with this. And I'm just going in and looking to where I might see some white, which means I need to make it a little bit more even. Just spread the love with the gathers. So organza, you get 6 yards, and sometimes organza is like a 99 cents when it's on sale and stuff like that, to $1.29. And so if you get 6 yards, you can make several small ones like this. So organza still can run the same amount as tulle, right? And sometimes, since people really don't use organza, they'll put it on sale. So make sure you check it out. Sometimes organza can be hard to work with because people do not like that friend, but hey, there's ways around the friend. And so y'all, I'm just taking my time and going around it and making sure I even this out as much as possible for me. And I'm not a perfectionist, so I just like to have it evened out. All right, so now that I got it evened out enough, now I'm just going to flip it. Just like that. And now the little tutu is done, right? So it'll look just like that. The little tutu is done. It's cute. It's full. It's fluffy. It's not tulle. It's organza. So it gives you a different feel, a different vibe to the tutu skirt, right? So anyway, this is what we created today. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Or you can head on over to So Cute Beginner Friendly Sewing Group and post your creations if you decide to make one using organza with the ribbon at the end. Post your creations in the group, and I would truly appreciate it. Okay. So anyway, thank you. Make sure it's no. Are you live on Facebook as well? No. Thank you, sis. I wasn't live on Facebook as well. I'm not good with what they call it, this kind of technology like type stuff. So this is something I'm having to learn. So if you're willing to help me to go live on both, if you know how to do that, I'll appreciate it, Miss Dimps. So yeah, just let me know. But I'm just live right here. That's all I know. I'm trying to figure this all out, because all I care about is just sewing, and I love giving back, right? So I'm getting myself back into that place. So if you could show me, I greatly appreciate it. I'm gonna try to put this on TikTok after I take pictures and see how that go too, so that this video can help others as well, right? Because these classes can be very expensive, and right now during this season, it's not the way to go. We gotta help each other out. Thank you, Miss. Oh, I can't see who that is. Zelonita. Hey. Thank you, Miss Dimps. So yeah, so this is it. Thank y'all for joining in. Make sure y'all go back and watch the replay if you need to, and I appreciate y'all for joining in. Talk to you soon. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going live often as I'm sewing up these gifts. So I'll probably see y'all again tomorrow. All right. Bye. Uh-oh.